So you're ready to reinvent your product, but where do you start? That's the subject of today's conversation. So let's jump straight into it. Hi, Nadia Jaksimbayeva here from Chief Reinvention Officer, a community of business leaders, organizational leaders working on reinventing themselves and reinventing their businesses so we can deal with change, we can deal with disruption rather than be crushed by them. Today's the subject of conversation is product reinvention. This is one of the things that I get a lot of because so many companies we're hired by are asking, how do we start product reinvention? Where do we start? Where is the starting point? So today I will only speak about the starting point. There are many other steps, but the center, the very foundation, the beginning of everything is this issue, and that is the issue of value. You start your product reinvention by understanding really deeply what is the value you're delivering today and how's that value changing for your customers. What are they expecting today? What do I mean by value? Very often, when we are in love with our product or service, when I say product, I really truly mean product or service. When we're in love with what we're offering to the world, we forget that most companies and most people do not succeed by selling products. They succeed by selling value. Remember the very famous saying that nobody really is interested in buying hammer and nails. What people are really buying when they're buying hammers and nails, they're buying holes in the walls. The same is true for your product and service. Chances are your customers are not buying the product or service itself, but they're there to pursue a particular value. Many companies died, or the whole industry died, because they misunderstood the product for value or value for product. The very famous story that I love, the death of the industry, is the death of the recording industry in the late 1990s and the beginnings of this century, 21st century, when the recording industry was obsessing around one product, and that is a round CD disc with 15, 16 songs on it. That was what they thought the customer was buying from them. So the only thing they thought about is what new customers, what new recording artists can we put on that disc? What new things we can put, what new order, what new sequence. But they completely misunderstood that people are not buying discs. They're buying music. And their changes in the way they perceive value of music, instead of buying 16 songs on one disc and then loving one of them, they wanted to buy one song. And they also wanted to have it in their hands immediately without driving to the store, without going through all the troubles. And that's how Apple, with the introduction of iPod and iTunes, were able, being complete newcomer in the industry, completely unknown, having nothing to do with music recording industry, being able to kill so many recording companies is because Apple understood the difference between product and value. The customers were not interested in the CD disc. They were interested in good, convenient, affordable music. So that's the question for your company. When you start product reinvention, are you clear what is the value that customers are buying today, and how is that value, how is their expectations and needs changing into the future? A few years ago, I worked with a company that mainly works with one product, and that is transportation pallets. You know, those big wooden or metal bases that are used to stack products on and then lifted on a forklift so they can be loaded into the big containers or big trucks and transported. Universally used standard pallets. So when I came to the company and asked them, what is the value that you are selling? Not the product, but the value. There was many different opinions, but the surprising part, even in the top executive team, there was no agreement. Some people thought that they were selling standard. Some people thought they were selling speed. Some people thought they were selling convenience, but they didn't really know what was the reason their customers are using pallets and not any other logistics shipping solution. And that is a powerful story of how many times I come into a company and I ask a very simple question: what is the value you're selling? And there is no real answer. I work with the metal industry, and people truly believe that they're selling metals. Nobody wakes up in the morning on Monday morning and think, okay, I need to buy a little bit of aluminum today. Of course not. They buy the value that aluminum provides. They buy the value that the pallet provides. They buy the value that the hammer and nails provide. They don't buy the product itself. So this is my message for you today. Where do you start your product reinvention? You start by deeply and thorough understanding what is the value of your product or service and how the changes that are coming in your business environment are impacting that value. Are your customers expecting that value to be delivered in a different way, in a different package, in a different form, a different value altogether? Maybe there's a better way to deliver that very value. Because I love the old saying from the president of Revlon: nobody in the stores are buying real creams. We produce creams in the factories. In the stores, we sell hope. So what are you selling? What is the value that your customers are yearning for? That is the starting point of any product reinvention. Right under this video, your own answer. What is the value you're saying? What's the product or service you're selling? And what's the actual value that customers are buying? This is a starting point of deeply rooting yourself into something that will allow you to reinvent and rethink how that value can be delivered. That will free you up from the chains of today's product or service and allow you to move to even better product or service for the value expected from your company. As always, connect to us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter, chiefreinventionofficer.com, because every time I post additional resources, articles, books that might help you. And I'm, as always, wishing you the most amazing day and a great reinvention ahead of you. See you very soon. Bye.